Alexander Harrington stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of his penthouse, staring at the Boston skyline as the morning sun painted the buildings in gold. At 32, he had everything most people dreamed of: billions in the bank, homes across the globe, and a family name that opened every door. Yet something was missing. His phone buzzed for the 5th time that morning. Another message from Vanessa, the model he'd taken to dinner last week. He ignored it just like the others. The conversation had been painful. All she wanted to talk about was his latest yacht and which celebrities would attend his next charity gala. "Another one bites the dust," he muttered, tossing the phone onto his leather couch. That was the problem with being Alexander Harrington. No one saw past the billion-dollar name. 3 hours later, Alexander walked through the gleaming lobby of Harrington Innovations, nodding politely at employees who scrambled to greet him. His mother's company, soon to be his company, occupied the top 15 floors of the building. Victoria Harrington had built the tech empire from scratch, turning a small startup into a global powerhouse. His mother's assistant jumped up the moment he approached. "Mr. Harrington, we weren't expecting you today. Mrs. Harrington is in a meeting, but I'll let her know you're—" "No need to interrupt," Alexander said with a smile. "I'll wait." The assistant looked like she might faint at the suggestion that a Harrington would wait for anything. But Alexander simply took a seat in the reception area, picking up a business magazine with his mother's face on the cover. 20 minutes later, Victoria Harrington emerged from her office, bidding goodbye to a group of executives. At 60, she remained a striking woman, silver hair cut in a precise bob, posture perfect, eyes sharp as ever. "Alexander?" Her surprise quickly transformed into pleasure. "Why didn't you tell me you were coming?" She embraced him warmly. "Spontaneous decision," he replied. "Do you have time for lunch with your only son?" Soon they were seated at her private dining room adjacent to her office with panoramic views of the harbor. "You look troubled," Victoria said, studying him over her salad. "Is everything all right with the Asian investments?" Alexander sighed. "The business is fine, Mother. It's everything else." He pushed his food around his plate. "I've been managing our international holdings for 5 years now. I've made us billions. And for what? So I can date women who care more about my bank account than who I am. So I can have friends who only call when they need something?" Victoria listened without interrupting, a skill that had served her well in business. "I am tired of being Alexander Harrington, billionaire heir," he continued. "I want something real. And you think you'll find that?" "Where exactly?" Victoria asked gently. "That's why I'm here," Alexander said, leaning forward. "It's time I learned about the company I'll eventually run. Not from quarterly reports or board meetings, but from the inside. The real company, not the sanitized version people show the boss's son." Victoria nodded slowly. "I've been waiting for this conversation. You've proven yourself internationally. It's time you understood the heart of Harrington Innovations." She took a sip of water. "But you've created a problem for yourself, haven't you? The moment you walk into any department, everyone will be on their best behavior around Alexander Harrington." "Exactly," he said. "That's why I need your help." Victoria raised an eyebrow. "I'm listening. What if I didn't come in as Alexander Harrington?" His eyes lit up as he spoke. "What if I came in as someone else? Someone ordinary? You want to work undercover in your own company?" Victoria looked amused. "Like one of those reality TV shows?" "Not for TV, for me." Alexander leaned back. "I need to know what this company really is before I can lead it. And I need to know if I can connect with people who don't see me as a walking dollar sign." Victoria considered this for a long moment. "What position did you have in mind?" "Management would be too visible." "Something invisible," Alexander replied. "Security, maybe?" "Security guards see everything but remain in the background." "Security," Victoria repeated, warming to the idea. "We could work with Raj in security. He's been with me since the beginning. Completely trustworthy. No one else can know," Alexander insisted. "Just you and Raj." Victoria studied her son with newfound respect. "You're serious about this?" "Completely." "Very well. I'll arrange it. You'll need a different name, of course." "Alex Harris," he suggested. "Close enough to my real name that I'll respond naturally." "And you'll need to change your appearance," Victoria added, assessing him critically. "Your face has been in too many magazines." Alexander ran a hand through his expensively cut hair. "I can grow a beard, wear glasses, dress differently. Victoria nodded, then suddenly laughed. Your grandfather would be proud. He always said a leader should know every corner of his business. Her expression softened. But Alexander, be careful. People might get hurt when they discover they've been deceived. I'll be careful, he promised. This isn't about tricking anyone. It's about finding something genuine. 2 weeks later, Alex Harris reported for his first day as a security guard at Harrington Innovations. Gone was the tailored Italian suit, replaced by the company's standard security uniform. Contact lenses were swapped for horn-rimmed glasses, and a short beard covered his usually clean-shaven jaw. He'd even dyed his hair a slightly darker shade. Raj Singh, head of security and now the only other person who knew his secret, gave him a brief nod as he entered the security office in the basement. Your credentials, Mr. Harris, Raj said formally, handing over an ID badge. His eyes conveyed the strange reality of this situation, handing a building access card to the man who technically owned the building. Thanks, Alex replied, clipping it to his uniform. He'd spent the last 2 weeks training with a private security consultant, learning the basics of the job. You'll be assigned to the research and development floors today, Raj explained for the benefit of the other guards in the room. Shadow Miguel for the first shift, then you're on your own. The morning passed in a blur of learning patrol routes, security protocols, and access systems. Miguel, a veteran guard in his 50s, showed him the ropes with gruff efficiency. Most important thing, Miguel advised during their lunch break in the staff cafeteria, is to be invisible but present. The execs don't want to notice you, but they want to feel safe. It's a balancing act, Alex nodded, taking this seriously. Any areas that need special attention? R&D on 15, Miguel replied. They've got some big project brewing. Extra security protocols, he lowered his voice. Word is it could change the company's future. Lots of closed-door meetings lately. Alex filed this information away. This was exactly the kind of insight he'd never get in a boardroom. That afternoon, Alex began his solo patrol of the R&D floor. The space buzzed with activity. Engineers huddled over workstations, whiteboards covered in diagrams, project managers moving between glass-walled meeting rooms. As he made his rounds, Alex was struck by how differently people treated him in this uniform. Some employees barely glanced his way. Others nodded politely but distantly. He was furniture, present but not really seen. The sensation was entirely new to him. Excuse me, a voice called out as he passed a conference room. Could you help me for a second? Alex turned to find a young woman struggling with a stack of presentation boards that reached her chin. Her long dark hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and determination creased her brow as she tried to manage the unwieldy load. Of course, he responded, quickly moving to take half the stack. Thanks, she said with genuine relief. I need these in the cedar meeting room, but the elevator's out and I had to take the stairs. No problem, Alex replied, following her lead down the hallway. I'm Alex, by the way. New security guard. Lily Chang, she introduced herself with a quick smile. Project manager for the Helix Initiative. They walked in comfortable silence until reaching a large conference room where several executives were already seated. Just set them against the wall, Lily whispered. Thank you so much. As Alex arranged the boards carefully, he overheard snippets of conversation. Market. Potential is enormous if we can get the prototype working. Victoria wants weekly progress. Reports on funding decision by quarters. And when he straightened up, he caught Lily giving him a grateful smile before turning her attention to the room. Good afternoon, everyone. Shall we begin with the latest test results? Alex slipped out quietly, continuing his patrol. But throughout the afternoon, his thoughts kept returning to the mysterious Helix project and to Lily Chang, the only person who'd looked him in the eye all day. At the end of his shift, Alex found himself in the lobby, watching employees stream out of the building into the early evening. He spotted Lily among them, now carrying just her laptop bag, heading toward the subway entrance across the street. A black town car pulled up alongside Alex, his ride home, arranged by Raj. As he slipped into the luxurious back seat, he caught a final glimpse of Lily disappearing down the subway stairs with the crowd. Two different worlds. For the first time in his life, Alexander wasn't sure which one he belonged in. Home, sir? His driver asked. Alex hesitated. Yes, he finally answered. But take the long way. I need to think. As the car pulled into traffic, he removed the glasses and rubbed his tired eyes. Day one, as Alex Harris had shown him more about Harrington Innovations than 5 years of quarterly reports. And tomorrow would bring more discoveries about the company, about the people who made it run, and perhaps, if he was lucky, about himself. 2 weeks into his new life as a security guard, Alex was settling into a routine. The early morning shifts were the hardest adjustment. Billionaires, it turned out, rarely had to wake up at 5 a.m. But there was something refreshing about the simplicity of his days now. Clock in, patrol, observe, clock out. No international conference calls, no investment decisions weighing on his mind. He stood by the staff entrance, nodding as employees trickled in with their coffees and sleepy expressions. Many now recognized him enough to offer a morning Alex as they passed. Small interactions, but each one felt earned rather than obligatory. "You're becoming quite the popular guy," Raj commented, appearing beside him with a clipboard. "Staff usually takes months to warm up to new security personnel." Alex shrugged. "Just doing my job." "That's exactly why," Raj replied with a knowing smile. "You actually do it. Most rich kids playing pretend wouldn't last 3 days doing real work." Before Alex could respond, a rush of cold air announced another arrival. Lily Chang hurried through the door, her cheeks flushed from the brisk morning, carrying what looked like a bakery box along with her usual laptop bag. "Morning, Alex," she called, more animated than most at this hour. "Have you had breakfast?" "The bakery by my apartment was giving out free samples, and I ended up buying way too many pastries." She set the box on the security desk and opened it to reveal an assortment of still warm pastries. "Help yourself. Seriously, I'll never eat all these." "That's really nice of you," Alex said, genuinely touched by the gesture. In his experience, most executives didn't even notice security staff, let alone bring them food. "Thank you," Lily waved away his thanks. "Consider it payment for rescuing me from those presentation boards last week." She glanced at her watch. "Gotta run. Big meeting with the finance team." With a quick smile, she grabbed her things and headed for the elevator. Raj raised an eyebrow as Alex selected a chocolate croissant from the box. "Interesting. What?" Alex asked, suddenly self-conscious. "Nothing," Raj replied, though his expression said otherwise. "Just noting that Ms. Chang doesn't typically bring breakfast for security staff." Alex tried to ignore the implication, focusing instead on his patrol duties for the day. But as he made his rounds through the building, his thoughts kept drifting back to Lily's smile. Later that afternoon, Alex was stationed outside a conference room where the board of directors was meeting. His mother had given him a pointed look as she entered, a silent reminder of their strange arrangement. From his position by the door, he could hear muffled voices discussing quarterly projections and market strategies. The elevator doors opened, and Lily emerged, clutching a folder and looking uncharacteristically nervous. She paused when she saw Alex. "They called me up to present the Helix project," she explained in a hushed voice. 3 months of work riding on the next 15 minutes. "You'll be great," Alex said with genuine confidence. "I've seen how prepared you always are." Lily took a deep breath. "Thanks, it's just, this project means everything to me. It's not just a job." Before Alex could respond, the boardroom door opened. "Ms. Chang?" His mother's assistant called. "They're ready for you." Lily straightened her blazer, gave Alex a grateful nod, and walked in. The door closed behind her, leaving Alex wondering about this project that clearly meant so much to her. 45 minutes later, the door opened again. Board members filed out, engaged in hushed conversations. His mother emerged last, deep in discussion with another executive. There was no sign of Lily. Concerned, Alex peered into the now empty boardroom and found her still there, gathering her materials, her expression unreadable. "How did it go?" he asked, stepping inside. Lily looked up, seemingly surprised to see him. "Oh, Alex, it was complicated." She sank into a chair, suddenly looking exhausted. "They like the concept, but think it's too risky. They want more data, more tests, more everything before they'll commit the funding." "That sounds positive, though," Alex ventured. "They didn't say no. In corporate speak, we need more data often means we're hoping you'll give up," Lily explained. "Especially when the main opposition is coming from Robert Sterling, who has his own competing project." Alex frowned. He knew Sterling, a vice president with a reputation for aggressive tactics and a close friendship with several board members. "What exactly is your project, if you don't mind me asking?" Lily studied him for a moment as if deciding how much to share. It's a renewable energy system, she finally said. Something that could make clean energy affordable for everyone, not just wealthy corporations and countries. Her eyes lit up as she continued. Most green technology requires massive upfront investment. My team has developed a modular system that can start small and scale up gradually, making it accessible to communities with limited resources. That sounds incredible, Alex said, genuinely impressed and somewhat surprised. His mother had always prioritized profit over social impact, or so he'd thought. It could be, Lily agreed. If we ever get it past the prototype stage. She stood gathering her folders. Anyway, thanks for listening to me vent. Not exactly in your job description. Sometimes listening is security, Alex replied with a smile. Maintaining the emotional safety of the building or something. That earned a laugh from Lily. Well, in that case, you're very good at your job. She checked her watch. I should get back to my team with the board's feedback. Good luck, Alex called as she left, his mind already turning over what he'd learned. During his private dinner with his mother that evening, he'd have some questions about the Helix project. The following week found Alex assigned to the R&D floor again, where the atmosphere had changed. The team working on Helix moved with new urgency, their previous easy banter replaced by intense focus. He spotted Lily in various meeting rooms throughout the day, often gesturing at projections or test results with fierce determination. During one of his patrols, Alex noticed the lab door propped open late in the evening, hours after most employees had gone home. Curious, he peered inside. Lily sat alone at a workstation surrounded by blueprints and computer models, rubbing her tired eyes. A half-eaten sandwich and empty coffee cup suggested she'd been there for hours. Working late? Alex asked softly, not wanting to startle her. She looked up, seeming only mildly surprised to see him. Alex. Yeah, we've got 3 weeks to address all the board's concerns. Sleep is becoming optional. Anything I can help with? He offered, then quickly added, I mean, I'm no engineer, but I could grab you a fresh coffee at least. That would actually be amazing, Lily admitted with a grateful smile. The cafeteria's closed, but there's a machine in the break room. When Alex returned with the coffee, he found Lily staring at a complex simulation on her screen, frustration evident in her posture. Problems? He asked, setting the coffee beside her. The efficiency drops when we scale up, she explained, pointing to a graph. It works perfectly at the smaller size, but we lose nearly 30% when we increase capacity. If we can't solve that, Sterling will convince the board to kill the project entirely. Alex leaned closer, studying the model. His years managing tech investments had given him a decent understanding of engineering principles, though he had to be careful not to reveal too much knowledge. What if you... He began cautiously. Instead of scaling up the whole system, you linked multiple small units together? Like, Christmas lights? Lily stared at him, then back at the screen. Networked modular deployment instead of size increase, she murmured. That could actually... Her fingers flew across the keyboard, adjusting parameters. The simulation ran again, and this time the efficiency line held steady as capacity increased. Alex, she exclaimed, turning to him with wide eyes. That might actually work. How did you think of that? He shrugged, trying to downplay it. Just a random thought. My dad used to fix things around the house. Said sometimes the simplest solution works best. Your dad was smart, Lily said, already running additional simulations. This approach completely aligns with our accessibility goals, too. Communities could start with 1 unit and add more as needed. She looked up at him with newfound curiosity.
What else does your dad fix?
Alex felt a twinge of guilt at the fabrication. Everything, really. He was very handy. He quickly changed the subject. You must be hungry after all this work. The sandwich graveyard suggests you haven't had a proper dinner. Lily glanced at the remains of her sad meal and laughed. Busted. But everything's closed at this hour, and I really need to finish these simulations. There's a good noodle place a few blocks away that delivers late, Alex suggested. I could order something? If you don't mind the company, that is. Lily's smile was answer enough. I'd like that. And I can tell you more about Helix, since you just helped solve a major problem. As they shared takeout containers over technical diagrams an hour later, Alex found himself more engaged than he had been in any business meeting in years. Lily spoke about her project with such passion and clarity that complex concepts became accessible. More surprisingly, she asked about his life with genuine interest, his background, his family, how he'd come to work in security. Alex answered carefully, keeping to his cover story while remaining as truthful as possible about his interests and values. For the first time in as long as he could remember, a conversation wasn't about his money or his family's influence. It was just about him, the person behind the name. "It's getting late," Lily finally said, checking her watch with surprise. "I had no idea it was past midnight." "Time flies when you're saving the world with renewable energy," Alex replied, helping her clean up their impromptu dinner. As they walked to the elevator together, Lily turned to him with a thoughtful expression. "You know, Alex, you're not what I expected from a security guard." His heart rate quickened. "What do you mean?" "You're just different in a good way." She pressed the down button. "Thanks for tonight, both the breakthrough idea and the company. Sometimes this place gets lonely, especially when you're fighting an uphill battle." As the elevator arrived, Alex found himself saying, "Maybe we could do it again sometime. The dinner part, I mean. Outside of work?" The doors opened and Lily stepped inside, holding them with one hand. Her smile lit up her tired face. "I'd like that very much." As the doors closed between them, Alex remained standing in the empty hallway, a mixture of elation and unease washing over him. For the first time, his deception felt wrong. Not because of company policy or his mother's concerns, but because of the genuine connection forming with Lily, a connection built on a foundation of lies. The downtown pizza place Lily had chosen for their first real date was nothing like the upscale restaurants Alexander normally frequented. The tables were slightly sticky, the napkins were paper, and the overhead lighting was too bright. "It was perfect. I promise this place has the best pizza in the city," Lily said as they slid into a worn booth. "I've been coming here since college." "I trust your judgment," Alex replied, genuinely enjoying the relaxed atmosphere. No reservation needed, no hovering waiters, no one snapping photos of him for gossip blogs. They ordered a large pepperoni pizza to share and 2 beers. As they waited, Lily leaned forward with her elbows on the table, a posture that would have horrified his mother's etiquette coach. "So, Alex Harris," she said with a playful smile. "We've talked plenty about my work, but I still know very little about you. What did you do before security? You seem too, I don't know, educated maybe? To have always been a guard." Alex had prepared for this question, but still felt uncomfortable with the necessary lies. "I worked overseas for a while," he said, sticking as close to the truth as possible. "Finance sector. Investment stuff, really? That's a big change," he shrugged. "It wasn't for me. Too much pressure, too many fake people." That part, at least, was completely honest. "I wanted something simpler for a while. Time to figure out what I really want." "I get that," Lily nodded. "Everyone expects me to climb the corporate ladder as fast as possible. But sometimes I wonder if that's what I want or what society tells me I should want." Their pizza arrived. Gloriously greasy and loaded with pepperoni. Lily immediately grabbed a slice, the cheese stretching in long strings. "So what do you want?" Alex asked, selecting his own slice. "Besides changing the world with renewable energy?" Lily laughed. "Is that not enough?" She took a bite and considered the question. "I want my work to matter. I want to make things better, not just make money. And I want," she hesitated, suddenly looking a bit shy, "normal stuff too. A home that feels like a home, not just a place to sleep between workdays. Maybe a family someday, people who know the real me, not just what I can do for them." Alex felt a pang of recognition. "The real you seems pretty great," he said softly. A slight blush colored her cheeks. "Thanks. Same goes for you, security man." As they ate, their conversation flowed easily from favorite movies to childhood stories to travel dreams. Alex carefully edited his own tales, converting 5-star hotels to hostels and private jets to crowded trains, but kept the genuine experiences intact. Lily listened attentively, laughing at his mishaps and asking thoughtful questions. By the time they finished their pizza, Alex realized he'd never had a more enjoyable date. No business talk disguised as pleasure. No calculating what connections or advantages a relationship might bring. Just 2 people getting to know each other. "Want to walk for a bit?" Lily suggested as they left the restaurant. "It's a nice night." They strolled along the river, the city lights reflecting on the water. Other couples passed them, Tourists took photos of the skyline, street musicians played for tips. Alex felt strangely anonymous and free. "So what's the story with your family?" Lily asked as they leaned against the railing, watching a boat pass. "You mentioned your dad was handy, but not much else." Alex tensed slightly. This was dangerous territory. "Not much to tell," he said carefully. "Dad taught me to fix things. Mom worked a lot. Pretty normal, really. Are they still around? Do you see them often?" He stared at the water. "Dad's gone. Mom's still very involved in my life." That at least was true enough. Lily seemed to sense his discomfort. "I'm sorry about your dad. Mine's back in California with my mom. They worry I work too hard, call every Sunday to check if I've found balance yet." She made air quotes with her fingers. "Have you?" Alex asked, grateful for the subject change. "Not even close," she laughed. "But tonight helps." When they finally said goodnight outside, Lily's apartment building, a modest brick structure in a decent but definitely not wealthy neighborhood, Alex resisted the urge to call his driver. Instead, he walked to the subway, joining the late-night crowd of normal people heading home after normal evenings. For the first time in his life, he didn't feel like an observer of ordinary life, but a participant. The next morning, reality came crashing back when Alex arrived at Harrington Innovations for his shift. The entire building was buzzing with excitement. Employees clustered in small groups, whispering animatedly. "What's going on?" he asked Miguel as they changed into their uniforms in the security office. "Big announcement," Miguel replied. "Apparently, Alexander Harrington is finally returning to take over the company. Victoria Harrington sent an email this morning." Alex nearly dropped his security badge. "What? When?" "Email says he'll be here for the annual company gala next month, then starting full-time the following week." Miguel adjusted his tie. "Get ready for chaos. When the boss's son takes over, things always change. People get fired, departments get restructured." Alex felt sick. This wasn't the plan. He was supposed to have more time before Alexander Harrington officially returned. He needed to talk to his mother immediately. Finding a private moment proved impossible as his shift started. He was assigned to patrol the executive floor, where the atmosphere was particularly tense. As he passed the break room, he overheard a heated conversation. "This could be bad for Helix," a familiar voice said. Lily was talking to another project manager, her expression worried. "If Alexander Harrington is anything like the other trust fund executives I've worked with, he'll cut innovative projects in favor of safe, immediate profits." "You don't know that," her colleague argued. "Victoria has always supported R&D. Victoria, yes. But her son? He's been managing overseas investments, probably from some yacht in Monaco." Lily ran a hand through her hair in frustration. People like that don't care about making renewable energy accessible to everyone. They care about their next million. Alex froze in the hallway, her words hitting him like physical blows. Is that who she thought he was? Who he actually was? "Ms. Chang," a smooth voice interrupted. Robert Sterling approached the break room, his expensive suit and slick hair a stark contrast to the more casual R&D team. "I heard the news about young Mr. Harrington's return. Perhaps now would be a good time to consider merging Helix with my own energy division, for security's sake." Lily's expression hardened. "Helix is doing fine on its own, Robert. We're making excellent progress since the board meeting." "So I've heard." Sterling's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Quite the breakthrough, though I wonder how a team that was stuck for months suddenly solved their scaling problem." "Hard work and creativity," Lily replied coolly. "Something you might try sometime." Sterling's facade cracked slightly, a flash of anger crossing his features. "Careful, Lily. The company will be under new management soon. You might want to make powerful friends, not enemies." "I'll take my chances with actual innovation," she said, turning away from him. Sterling noticed Alex in the hallway and narrowed his eyes. "Guard, isn't there somewhere else you should be patrolling?" Alex forced himself to nod respectfully. "Yes, sir. Just making my rounds." He continued down the hallway, his mind racing. Sterling clearly saw Lily as a threat. And Lily? Lily had no idea who Alex really was or how her words had affected him. By lunchtime, Alex had formulated a plan. He needed to speak with his mother urgently, and there was only one way to do it without revealing himself to others. He approached Raj during their break. "I need a favor," he said quietly. "Can you arrange for me to handle security for Victoria Harrington's office this afternoon?" Raj raised an eyebrow. Any particular reason? I've noticed some unusual activity on the executive floor. Thought I should report directly to Mrs. Harrington. It wasn't entirely a lie. Sterling's thinly veiled threats certainly qualified as unusual. I'll see what I can do, Raj replied, clearly suspicious but willing to help. 3 hours later, Alex found himself posted outside his mother's office. When her assistant stepped away for coffee, he knocked and entered without waiting for a response. Victoria looked up from her computer, surprised. Mr. Harris, is something wrong? You could say that, he replied, closing the door behind him. What's this about Alexander Harrington returning next month? That wasn't our plan, his mother sighed. The board forced my hand. Our stock dipped after the quarterly report, and they're insisting on a clear succession plan. I had to give them something concrete. You could have warned me, Alex said, pacing the familiar office that he'd visited countless times as himself. I heard about it from another guard, and then had to listen to Lily Chang discuss how Alexander Harrington will probably destroy her project because he's just another trust fund executive. Victoria's expression softened. Ah, so this is about Ms. Chang. It's about the deception getting out of control, Alex insisted, though his burning ears betrayed him. How am I supposed to appear as Alexander Harrington at the gala when I'll be working security that night? People will notice when the guard disappears and the heir appears at the same time. We'll manage it, Victoria assured him. You can work the early shift, then leave to prepare for the gala. No one will think twice about security staff changes during a major event. Alex ran a hand through his hair in frustration. And after that, I'm just supposed to show up as myself and pretend I've never met any of these people? That I haven't heard their honest opinions about Alexander Harrington? Victoria studied him carefully. This experiment has meant more to you than I anticipated, especially Ms. Chang. Alex struggled to find the right words. She's real. She sees me, Alex, not the Harrington name or fortune. And she's brilliant. Her project could truly make a difference. I know, Victoria said. Why do you think I've supported it despite the board's hesitation? Before Alex could respond, a knock came at the door. He quickly straightened into a security posture as Victoria called, "Come in." The door opened to reveal Robert Sterling, who paused when he saw Alex. "Mrs. Harrington, I was hoping to discuss the transition plan for your son's arrival. Perhaps when you're not otherwise occupied?" He glanced dismissively at Alex. "Mr. Harris was just reporting a security concern," Victoria said smoothly. "You may go now, thank you." Alex nodded respectfully and moved to leave, passing close to Sterling, who didn't even look at him. Just another invisible employee beneath his notice. "Mrs. Harrington," Alex heard Sterling say as the door closed behind him. "About the Helix project. I have some concerns I think your son should be aware of immediately upon his return." Alex clenched his fists, wishing he could turn around and confront Sterling as himself. But that would end the charade immediately, and with it, any chance of a genuine relationship with Lily. As he resumed his patrol, his phone buzzed with a text from Lily. "Gala next month, everyone's required to attend. Even security staff. Want to be my date? We can make fun of the executives together." Alex stared at the message, a knot forming in his stomach. The company gala, where Alexander Harrington would make his triumphant return. The lies were closing in around him. The week before the gala, Alex felt like he was living two increasingly incompatible lives. By day, he patrolled the halls of Harrington Innovations as security guard Alex Harris, growing closer to Lily with each shared lunch break and evening conversation. By night, he worked with his mother, planning his official return as Alexander Harrington, heir to the company. "You'll need to make some appearances as yourself before the gala," Victoria insisted during one of their strategy dinners at her home. "People are expecting Alexander Harrington to arrive in the city this week. We can't have you magically appear only at the event." "And how exactly am I supposed to do that while still working security shifts?" Alex asked, pushing his barely touched steak around his plate. "Take some days off," Victoria suggested. "Raj can arrange it without raising suspicions. And Lily? What am I supposed to tell her?" His mother sighed. "Alexander, this charade was always temporary. You knew that from the beginning." "I know," he admitted. "I just didn't expect it to be this complicated." "Because of Ms. Chang?" Victoria asked gently. Alex nodded, finally setting down his fork. She's different, Mom. Smart, passionate, genuine. When I'm with her, I'm not thinking about being Alexander Harrington or Alex Harris. I'm just me. Victoria studied her son with a mixture of sympathy and concern. And how do you think she'll react when she learns the truth? That the security guard she's been confiding in is actually the executive she's been dreading? I don't know, Alex admitted. But I need to be the one to tell her. Before the gala. That would be wise, Victoria agreed. The longer this continues, the worse it will be when the truth comes out. The next morning, Alex requested 3 days off, telling Raj he needed to help a sick family member. As he left the building, he caught sight of Lily in the lobby, deep in conversation with her team. Their eyes met briefly and she smiled, mouthing, "Call me later." He nodded, guilt twisting in his stomach. For the next 2 days, Alexander Harrington made strategic appearances around the city. Lunch at an exclusive restaurant where he was photographed by social media influencers. A meeting with the mayor that made the local business news. A visit to the symphony where several board members coincidentally encountered him. All carefully orchestrated to establish his presence in town before the gala. Meanwhile, he exchanged texts with Lily as Alex, claiming to be busy with his ill relative but promising to see her at work on Friday, his last shift before the gala on Saturday night. He hated the deception, but couldn't bring himself to end it via text message. She deserved to hear the truth face to face. On Thursday evening, Alexander attended a private dinner with key investors, wearing one of his tailored suits for the first time in weeks. The fabric felt strangely restrictive after the comfort of his security uniform. As the waiter poured $1,000 wine and the conversation turned to profit margins and market expansion, he found himself thinking about the pizza place where he'd gone with Lily, with its paper napkins and genuine laughter. "Alexander, you seem distracted," noted Patrick Jensen, one of the oldest board members. "Nervous about taking the reins from your mother?" "Not at all," Alexander replied smoothly, slipping back into the polished persona he'd perfected over years. "Just considering some new directions for the company, such as," prompted another investor. "Sustainable technologies," Alexander said, thinking of Lily's passion when she spoke about Helix. "I believe there's both profit and purpose in developing affordable renewable energy solutions." Several investors exchanged surprised glances. This wasn't the approach they'd expected from Victoria Harrington's son, who had built his reputation on maximizing returns from traditional investments. As Alexander elaborated on his vision, he noticed Robert Sterling watching him with narrow eyes from across the table. The man had been unusually attentive throughout the dinner, laughing too loudly at Alexander's jokes and agreeing too eagerly with his comments. "Speaking of new initiatives," Sterling interjected smoothly, "I've been meaning to discuss my department's latest energy project with you. Perhaps we could meet privately tomorrow, before you make any decisions about company direction." "I'll have my assistant check my schedule," Alexander replied non-committally, knowing exactly what Sterling was attempting. The man wanted to poison him against Helix before he even officially started. When Alexander returned to his penthouse that night, he found himself staring at his reflection in the bathroom mirror. Without the security uniform, without the glasses and the carefully maintained beard of Alex Harris, he looked every inch the billionaire businessman. Was this his true self? Or was the man Lily had come to know closer to the real Alexander Harrington? Friday morning arrived with unexpected complications. As Alexander prepared to shave his beard and transform back into Alex Harris for his final security shift, his phone rang with his mother's private number. "Have you seen the business news?" Victoria asked without preamble. "No, what happened?" Alexander grabbed his tablet, opening the financial news app. "Robert Sterling gave an interview about exciting new directions at Harrington Innovations under your leadership. He's announcing a partnership between his energy division and Suntech Corporation, using technology suspiciously similar to Helix." "What?" Alexander scrolled through the article, his anger mounting as he read Sterling's quotes about streamlining redundant research projects and focusing on commercially viable partnerships. "He's trying to kill Lily's project before you even start," Victoria said, "and using your name to do it." "I never approved this," Alexander growled. "I barely spoke to the man." "I know that, but the public doesn't. The board is already calling me, asking if this represents your actual position." Alexander paced his bathroom, mind racing. I need to fix this today. As Alexander or as Alex? His mother asked pointedly. The question stopped him cold. He looked again at his reflection, caught between two identities, two worlds. Both, he finally said. I'm going in as Alex for my shift, and I'll tell Lily the truth. Then I'll handle Sterling as myself. After a hurried conversation about strategy with his mother, Alex rushed to Harrington Innovations, barely making it in time for his shift. The building felt different. People huddled in groups, whispering about the news, shooting concerned glances toward the R&D floors. He found Lily in the lab, surrounded by her team. Their usual enthusiasm had been replaced by grim determination as they gathered around a prototype of the Helix system. We need to accelerate the testing, Lily was saying as Alex entered. If we can demonstrate real-world efficiency before the board meeting next week. She broke off when she noticed him. Alex, you're back. Her smile was strained, worry evident in her eyes. Can we talk? He asked quietly. Somewhere private? Not a great time, she replied, gesturing to the team. We're in crisis mode. Have you seen the news? About Sterling's announcement? Yeah. He's stealing our work, Lily said, anger flashing in her eyes. The revolutionary modular design he described in that interview? That's Helix, that's our technology. And he's claiming Alexander Harrington supports giving it to Suntech, who'll price it so high that only major corporations can afford it. Alex felt sick. Maybe there's been a misunderstanding. Harrington might not even know. Oh, he knows, cut in one of Lily's colleagues. Sterling's been bragging about their private meetings all week. Said they're aligned on vision. Lily ran a hand through her hair in frustration. Everything we've worked for, all the communities this could help. Gone because some rich guy who's never worked a real day in his life decided our project isn't profitable enough. The words stung, but Alex couldn't defend himself without revealing the truth, a truth he desperately needed to share with Lily alone. I just need 5 minutes. He tried again. It's important. Before Lily could respond, alarms blared throughout the building. The emergency system had activated. Security alert, crackled Alex's radio. Raj's voice came through clearly. All personnel to stations. Unauthorized access to R&D server room. I have to go, Alex told Lily apologetically. But we need to talk today, it's important. Go, she nodded, already turning back to her team. We'll be here all night trying to salvage what's left of our project. Alex hurried to the security office, where Raj was directing the response team. What's happening? Someone's trying to access the R&D servers, Raj explained grimly. They bypassed the first level of security with valid credentials but triggered the secondary system when they attempted to download certain files. Helix files? Alex guessed. Raj nodded. How did you know? Just connect the dots, Alex replied, thinking of Sterling's suspicious timing. Where do you need me? Monitor the north stairwell. We've locked down all elevators, but they might try to exit that way. Alex took his position, mind racing. If Sterling or someone working for him was stealing Helix data, this was even worse than the partnership announcement. They weren't just trying to redirect the project, they were planning to take it entirely. After 20 tense minutes, his radio crackled again. Suspect apprehended, came another guard's voice. Male, mid-30s, IT contractor. Had an external drive with project files. Bring him to the security office, Raj ordered. And someone inform Mrs. Harrington. When Alex arrived at the security office, he found a nervous-looking man in a maintenance uniform being questioned by Raj while 2 other guards stood watch. Victoria Harrington was already there, her expression thunderous. He claims he was paid to download the files, Raj was explaining. Won't say by whom. I just need 5 minutes alone with him, Victoria said coldly. I can't allow that, Mrs. Harrington, Raj replied professionally. But perhaps your son could assist when he arrives. I understand he's in the building for meetings today. Alex froze. What was Raj talking about? Victoria's eyes flickered briefly to Alex before addressing Raj. My son? Who told you that? Mr. Sterling mentioned it when he called about the alarm. Said he and Alexander Harrington were in a meeting when it sounded. Alex and Victoria exchanged alarmed glances. Sterling was creating an alibi for himself and claiming to be with Alexander, who was supposedly still Alex at that moment. I need to make a call, Victoria said sharply, stepping out of the office. Alex followed her into the hallway, checking that they were alone before speaking. He's setting me up, Both versions of me. This has gone too far, Victoria said. We need to end this now. Alexander Harrington needs to make an appearance immediately to counter whatever Sterling is planning. But I'm on shift and in uniform and… Now, Alexander, his mother insisted. Go change. There's a suit in my office closet. Meet me in the executive conference room in 15 minutes. As Victoria strode away, Alex stood frozen in the hallway, torn between duty and necessity. If he disappeared from his security post during an emergency, he'd be breaking protocol. If he didn't confront Sterling as Alexander Harrington immediately, both his reputation and Lily's project would be destroyed. And he still hadn't told Lily the truth. Making his decision, Alex headed for the stairwell, not to monitor it as ordered, but to take it up to the executive floor and his mother's office. As he reached for the door, it swung open from the other side. Lily stood there, a folder clutched in her hands, surprise registering on her face. Alex, thank goodness. I was looking for you. Lily, I found proof. She interrupted urgently, showing him the folder. These are server access logs showing Sterling's ID was used to view all our Helix files last week. He's the one behind the theft. I'm taking these to Mrs. Harrington right now. Lily, wait. Alex grabbed her arm gently. There's something I need to tell you first. Something important. She looked at him curiously, registering the unusual intensity in his expression. What is it? Before Alex could respond, the stairwell door one floor above them opened with a bang. Robert Sterling's voice echoed down. I don't care what it takes. Delete those server logs immediately. And find that security guard, Harris. He's been asking too many questions. Lily's eyes widened as she looked from the stairs to Alex. They're after you too? Why? It's complicated, Alex whispered. But we need to go now. He held the door for her and they slipped back into the hallway just as footsteps began descending the stairs. Thinking quickly, Alex pulled Lily into a supply closet, closing the door quietly behind them. In the dim light filtering under the door, they stood close together, barely breathing as footsteps passed by outside. Alex, Lily whispered, what's really going on? He took a deep breath. The moment of truth had arrived in the most unexpected way. I'm not who you think I am, Lily. I'm not who you think I am. Lily. In the dim light of the supply closet, Alex could barely make out Lily's face, but he felt her stiffen at his words. What do you mean? She whispered, confusion in her voice. Alex took a deep breath. After weeks of deception, the moment had arrived in the worst possible way, hiding in a closet while Sterling's men searched for them. My real name isn't Alex Harris. It's Alexander Harrington. Silence filled the tiny space. He couldn't see Lily's expression clearly, but he felt her pull away slightly. That's not funny, Alex, she finally said. It's not a joke, he replied quietly. I'm Victoria Harrington's son, the same Alexander Harrington that Sterling claims to be meeting with right now. That's impossible, Lily's voice hardened. You're a security guard. I've seen you work shifts. We've eaten pizza together. She trailed off, the implications sinking in. I took the security job to learn about the company from the inside, Alex explained, words tumbling out. To understand what Harrington Innovations really is before I took over. I wanted to connect with people who saw me as a person, not just a billionaire name. So everything was a lie? Lily's voice cracked slightly. Our conversations? Our relationship? No, Alex insisted, reaching for her hand in the darkness. She pulled away. The way I feel about you is real. The man you got to know, that's the real me, Lily. Not the name or the title or the money. Footsteps passed by the closet again, interrupting the moment. They both held their breath until the sound faded. We need to move, Alex whispered. Sterling is trying to frame me, both versions of me, while stealing your project. We have to stop him. Why should I believe anything you say? Lily asked, her voice cold. Because despite my lie about who I am, everything else was true, Alex replied. Including how much I believe in Helix and what you're trying to accomplish. Sterling wants to destroy that. Are you going to let him? After a long pause, Lily spoke again. I have proof of his tampering in this folder, but I still don't trust you. You don't have to trust me, Alex said. Just let me help you stop him. After that, if you never want to see me again, I'll understand. He cracked the door open slightly, peering into the empty hallway. We need to get to the executive conference room. My mother will be there and we can expose Sterling together. They slipped out of the closet and moved quickly down the corridor, keeping close to the wall. As they rounded the corner toward the elevators, they nearly collided with two security guards. "Harris?" one of them said in surprise. "Raj is looking everywhere for you. You abandoned your post during an emergency?" Alex straightened up. "I'm pursuing a lead related to the security breach. This is Lily Chang from R&D. She has evidence identifying the real culprit." The guards exchanged uncertain glances. "We have orders to bring you to the security office," one said. "From Mr. Sterling. He says you might be involved in the breach." "Sterling is the one behind it," Lily spoke up, clutching her folder tightly. "I have proof right here. We need to speak with Victoria Harrington immediately." "Mrs. Harrington is in the executive conference room with the board and Mr. Sterling right now," the guard informed them. "Some kind of emergency meeting about the breach." Alex made a quick decision. "Take us there now. Tell them we have critical security information." His authoritative tone seemed to work. The guards nodded and escorted them to the elevator. As they rode up to the executive floor, Lily kept her distance from Alex, standing in the opposite corner of the elevator. Her expression was unreadable, but the hurt and betrayal in her eyes was unmistakable. "For what it's worth," Alex said quietly, "I was going to tell you today, before all this happened." "Convenient timing," she replied coldly. The elevator doors opened onto the executive floor, where another security guard stood watch outside the conference room. They said no interruptions, he told them. "This can't wait," Alex insisted. Without waiting for permission, he pushed past the guard and threw open the conference room doors. Inside, the board members sat around the large table, expressions grave. Victoria Harrington stood at the head of the table with Robert Sterling beside her. Everyone turned to stare at the interruption. "What is the meaning of this?" demanded Patrick Jensen, the senior board member. "Security breach update," Alex announced confidently, striding into the room as if he belonged there. In a way, he did. "Harris, you're out of line," Sterling snapped. "This guard should be removed immediately," he told the others. "In fact, he's a suspect in the data theft." "That's a lie," Lily stepped forward, opening her folder. "I have server logs showing it was your credentials, Mr. Sterling, that accessed the Helix files before the breach." Victoria's eyes darted between her son and Sterling. "Perhaps we should hear what Ms. Chang has to say." "This is absurd," Sterling scoffed. "You're going to take the word of a security guard and a desperate project manager over mine?" "I was meeting with Alexander Harrington when the breach occurred." "Were you?" Victoria asked mildly. "That's interesting, considering my son is standing right here." The room fell silent as all eyes turned to Alex, still in his security uniform. "What is she talking about, Harris?" Jensen asked, confused. Alex straightened his shoulders and removed his security cap. "My name isn't Alex Harris. It's Alexander Harrington." Gasps and murmurs filled the room. Sterling's face drained of color. "That's impossible," he sputtered. "You're a security guard. I've seen you for weeks." "Yes, you have," Alex agreed. "And you never bothered to look closely, did you? Never thought a mere guard would be worth your attention. That's why my mother and I arranged this. To see the company as it really is, not how people pretend it is when the boss is watching." He turned to the board members. "While working security, I've learned more about Harrington Innovations than I ever could from reports and presentations. I've seen which projects have real potential and which ones are just for show." His eyes fixed on Sterling. "I've also seen who can be trusted and who cannot." "This is ridiculous," Sterling protested, though his confidence was clearly shaken. "You expect us to believe the heir to Harrington Innovations has been working as a security guard? Why would you do something so bizarre?" "To find the truth," Alex replied simply. "About the company, about the people who work here." He glanced at Lily, who was watching him with a mixture of shock and something unreadable. "About myself," Victoria stepped forward. "The evidence, Ms. Chang?" Lily seemed to snap out of her trance. She handed the folder to Victoria, who quickly reviewed its contents. "These logs clearly show Mr. Sterling accessing all Helix project files last week," Victoria announced to the board. "Combined with today's theft attempt and his public announcement claiming my son's support for a competing project, the picture becomes quite clear." Sterling's face contorted with anger. "You can't prove anything. And even if Harrington was playing dress-up as a security guard, that's hardly appropriate behavior for someone about to take over the company. The board should question his judgment." "My judgment?" Alex stepped closer to Sterling. "I chose to understand this company from the ground up before leading it. You chose to steal another team's work and claim it as your own. He turned to the board. Which one of us would you rather have making decisions? The board members exchanged glances, clearly processing the extraordinary situation. Perhaps we should continue this discussion privately, Jensen suggested. Ms. Chang, thank you for bringing this evidence forward. Security, please escort Mr. Sterling to wait in Mrs. Harrington's office while we discuss these allegations. As the guards led a protesting Sterling away, Victoria addressed Lily. Thank you for your quick action. Ms. Chang, the company owes you a debt of gratitude. Lily nodded stiffly, avoiding Alex's gaze. I should get back to my team. They need to know their work is safe. Of course, Victoria agreed. Alexander, why don't you accompany Ms. Chang while the board and I begin our discussion? It wasn't really a suggestion. Alex nodded and followed Lily out of the conference room. In the hallway, she walked briskly toward the elevator, maintaining distance between them. Lily, please, Alex called after her. Can we talk? She stopped but didn't turn around. What's left to say? You lied to me for weeks. You made me believe you were someone you're not. I lied about my name and my job, Alex admitted, coming to stand beside her, but not about who I am. The man who helped with your project, who listened to your ideas, who shared pizza with you. That's the real me. Lily finally turned to face him, her eyes shining with unshed tears. How am I supposed to believe that? How do I know which parts were real and which were just research for when you take over the company? All of it was real, Alex insisted. Especially how I feel about you. The billionaire heir and the project manager, Lily said bitterly. Sounds like a bad movie. No, Alex shook his head. Just two people who connected over ideas and dreams and terrible pizza. Despite herself, Lily's lips quirked slightly at the memory. I understand if you can't forgive the deception, Alex continued, but I hope you'll at least let me prove that my support for Helix is genuine. The project deserves to succeed regardless of us. The elevator arrived with a soft ding, but neither moved to enter it. I need time, Lily finally said. This is a lot to process. I understand, Alex nodded. For what it's worth, I was planning to tell you today. Before the gala. Before everything exploded. Why should I believe that? Because lying to you has been the hardest part of this whole charade, Alex admitted. Every day it got harder because every day He hesitated, then continued softly. I fell for you a little more. Lily studied his face for a long moment. I don't know who you are anymore. Yes, you do, Alex insisted gently. You know me better than almost anyone. The name changed, but the person didn't. 6 months later, the Harrington Innovations lobby was transformed. Where there had once been only corporate logos and bland art, now stood a working prototype of the Helix renewable energy system, powering a living wall of plants and an interactive display explaining how the technology worked. Alexander Harrington, dressed in a suit but with his tie loosened and sleeves rolled up, stood before a group of international journalists and community leaders. The first installations will begin next month in 3 pilot communities, he explained, gesturing to the maps on the display. Each system can be expanded as energy needs grow, making renewable energy accessible to communities that could never afford traditional power infrastructure. This represents a significant shift in Harrington Innovations' focus, noted one journalist. What inspired this new direction? Alexander smiled. Sometimes you need to see things from a different perspective to understand what really matters. His eyes drifted to the side of the room, where Lily stood watching, a small smile on her lips. After the presentation, as the crowd dispersed for the reception, Alexander made his way to Lily. That went well, she said, handing him a glass of water. The community representatives seemed especially impressed. They should be impressed with you, Alexander replied. You're the one who made Helix work. We made it work, Lily corrected him. Your networking idea solved the scaling problem, remember? A rare moment of brilliance from a security guard, he joked. Lily rolled her eyes, but her smile remained. The path to forgiveness had been neither short nor easy. Weeks of honest conversations, a genuine apology, and most importantly, Alexander's unwavering support for Helix even when other executives questioned its profitability. All had slowly rebuilt what his deception had broken.